and gentlemen, welcome to another Disjointed Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Hello on Christmas Eve.
Or Happy Holidays, days for those who do not celebrate Christmas.
So many days of holiday cheer for all.
Indubitably. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is, of course, the Thursday Hangout. Oh, sorry. I'm your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the Flipper himself, Zealeus.
Greetings, good sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Thursday Night Hangout. It's a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you. If we unfortunately... Oh my gosh, Charlie, come on. There's a script, too. I mean, this is the terrible thing.
Is this our first time doing the show? I get
Apparently.
confused about these things.
The Thursday Night Hangout is a weekly live show where we try our best to cover topics that are most important to you, with you during the show. If you haven't submitted your topic, question, etc., have no fear. You can drop them in the chat, and we will add it to the topic list for the show. If we do, unfortunately, run out of time, those topics will be added to the beginning of next week's show.
Yes.
I will fully admit that it has been a crazy week for me. I unfortunately am not off of work. I had a...
You're still working right now?
Yeah, sure.
At this hour?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't recognize what time is right now. So,
well, the show has started, so I'm thinking it's after 8 o'clock Eastern time.
Yes, of course. I was out late last night. Unfortunately, we lost the championship game by like 13.
Damn.
But hey, we put up a hell of a fight. We were not supposed to be in that championship game. But anyways, so let's get to some of these topics here. The first one is, even though that wonderful petition went strong about, bring Cavill back to be The Witcher, but get rid of the writers. It was a very successful campaign. However, Cavill has signed on to a new project, a live-action Warhammer 40K.
So it'll be interesting because the Hammer, I've read some 40K Warhammer novels. And the thing
Bibles?
Is, what's that?
Bibles.
The omnibus. Omnibuses is what they call them.
Yeah, they're like phone. They're got the thickness of phone books. And for you youngins out there, phone books are like, I don't know, 6-7 inch thick books.
They are behemoths.
Yes.
Is a nice way of putting it. And the ones I've read will be interesting is like, there's not a lot of necessarily, there is world building,
yeah,
but it's literally all action all the time. Like they're literally like war books that have like the 40K universe built around them. So that kind of be where I'm interested to see, like, where do they go with it? I mean, did they base it on some of the books? Because you have a ton of different like series and authors from the 40K universe. Obviously, you have the tabletop game. You have a whole slew of video games. So that's be curious to see where do they kind of go with the 40K universe. Because most of these projects, like, whether it's The Witcher or all these animes that come out from Netflix recently, like, it's pretty straightforward, like, of your source material. Whether or not you stick to it, who the fuck knows?
Right.
But in general, like, where you kind of go with it, pretty straightforward. But with 40K, there's such a plethora of information and different stuff out there where you could really go. So that's what I'd be curious to see is, where do they kind of start with it? I'm looking forward to it. I think it could be really cool to see what they do. It looks like they'll have an Amazon budget to do it in. We know budget does not always mean success, but it sure as hell doesn't hurt to have that budget to make the success, because, I mean, anything in the 40K universe, most likely it's going to need some pretty badass special effects. I mean, you're in space. Like, it's not like you're just on Earth, running around. It's like they're in warships and, the different characters with, you're going to need like some crazy prosthetics and costumes for these different characters, because they're not just humans. They have like, the Space Marines, they have the Inquisitors and all these different really interesting characters. So I think it'd be cool. I mean, I could see it if it's successful, because that's always the big question, as like a whole universe, which I think is the goal. But just because there's so much stuff out there that you could go with. And it seems like in the last like couple of years, they've also put out a ton of 40K video games. It seems like every time I turn around, there's like a new Warhammer video game of some sort.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I'm trying to see here. The first edition of the Warhammer 40K rulebook was published in September 1987. So 87 plus 3 to get to 90, so that's 13. 13 plus 22 is 35, right? Yeah, 35 years. It's been around for 35 years. So you got 35 years of material being produced in some shape or form for this. So I'm absolutely right there with you. There is, like, I don't want to say a sinkhole, but it's such a huge chasm of stuff that you could get lost in. And I'll be totally honest with you, when it comes to the video games, they truly are hit or miss with me. And then the same with the books. I mean, it really depends on the author. So how involved do they get, the past authors, or maybe the best of the authors? I don't know. But right off the bat, I'm also with Zealeus on this. It's going to be expensive as shit. The amount of like the vehicles and the spaceships and the armor and the prosthetics for the different types of beings that they're going to be interacting with. I mean, just the set design alone. You think that here's the thing. This is if this first season is a success, whenever it comes out, it'll be interesting to see how fast Amazon signs on for a second season, because this, to me, kind of is in the same vein of like Sandman. Sandman's expensive to produce, and Netflix wait until like the 11th hour to be like, you know what? Yeah, okay, we'll do it. But then again, Sandman is Neil Gaiman, and although Neil Gaiman's like, I'm in, let's just do this, and Netflix was the one who's dragging their feet. Whereas I don't think you really have that center, big name on Warhammer 40K is a big ass name by itself. But to be totally honest with you, to the average Joe and Janes out there, if you say, yeah, man, I'm so excited about this 40K Warhammer 40K show that's going to come on Amazon, you're going to get a lot of shrugs.
It doesn't have probably the name recognition out of it. Like inside the gaming community or a lot of books, we've heard of 40K, but outside of that, what I would also be curious of, at some point, would they pick up, because there's like they're going 40K, but there's tons of other time periods within the realm of Warhammer. I've read some of the like more like sword and fantasy stuff.
Which I think is just called Warhammer, right? They just dropped the 40K off.
I would have to check. I have the book in my little library. I'd have to look. I forget what exactly they call it. Maybe it is just Warhammer. I don't remember now. But I mean, that's just straight up like regular good old fantasy with vampires and wizards and stuff.
It's kind of more like Dungeons and Dragons with miniatures. Like,
yeah, that's actually a good way of putting it. Almost like it's almost like, and that it's kind of like a Dragonlance universe in a way, if you kind of put it like the analogy of books.
Yeah.
But still definitely more dark, which is Warhammer. Makes sense. So that's to be really kind of curious to see is, do they expand it to outside of the 40K universe? I mean, honestly, the old school when I say old school, I mean old era, like the fantasy era of Warhammer, would actually be perfect for like anime.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's kind of the anime forte is, sword and board fantasy. So kind of take that, do some of the cool like Inquisition stuff where you got the witch hunters, hunting stuff down. That could be a pretty badass anime. Granted, Netflix seems to be doing a lot more of the animes than Amazon, but still. Yeah. So I'm interested. I mean, it's cool. I think that Cavill finally got his teeth into something he could dig his, teeth into.
Right.
Um, the funny thing is he probably could have made, I'm guessing, a lot more money doing like something else. Because I think at this point he has a name to be able to command doing a lead actor in something else if he'd wanted to.
Right.
But it seems like, he really, based off his history in The Witcher and then getting advanced in Superman, like this is stuff he's kind of at a point in his life like, screw it, I want to do the projects I want to do.
Yeah.
As long as I still have time to play World of Warcraft on my massive gaming PC that the rest of you can't afford.
Exactly.
Which I approve.
Which, ironically, speaking of World of Warcraft, apparently even popular streamers are seeing that their numbers are decreasing when they stream World of Warcraft now.
Well, because Dragonflight's coming out or has come out?
It just came out.
Okay.
You already have the first, of course, you already have the first person who's already maxed out. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I would ever be that person. I don't think I could do it. Be like, oh yeah, here comes the new expansion. I'm going to max out. Even when I had a lot of time, I don't think I had that much time to really sink into something like that.
Well, I guess the question is, was this person streaming it as they did it?
True.
Because it sounds like something that you do for views. Like,
absolutely, yeah.
If you're a, professional video game streamer, then you got to do, the crazy stuff to get people coming to your channel and doing the views. So in that context, I can see where it makes more logical sense to just kind of go all in and get to that level. I don't even know how they do leveling in World of Warcraft nowadays.
I don't. It just that to me, when you're trying to be the first one to max out, it feels like a speed run, because it is a speed run. But like MMO and speed run, just to me is like the weirdest. Like MMO, it's massive multiplayer online game that you're there to interact and stuff. Yes. Single player, speed run till your heart's content. But in an MMO, it's really weird.
Well, the irony, though, it started about 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the streamer, but one of the YouTube guys actually posted a video, which there's been a lot of reactions to, of single players basically save the MMO genre.
Mm-hmm.
And you even look at like Final Fantasy 14. I always want to call it Realm Reborn, even though it's technically not a Realm Reborn anymore. And they're clearly, obviously still the online multiplayer. It's like, that's not going anywhere.
Right.
But they're putting an enormous amount of resources into the gameplay so you can play the entire game single player. So even like, I know you've always had like the gripe of MMOs, like at some point you're going to get to that point in the quest line where you have to group up with other people. Well, they've actually made they call it the trust system, where when you get to those dungeons, you can actually team up with 3 to 4 or however many people need for your dungeon NPCs, kind of like the old school Guild Wars 1 style, where you could go in. And so they're putting a lot of effort in also building the dungeons around the trust system. So you can basically do I think there's still stuff you have to do with people. I don't think everything is that way. But Yoshi P, the director, has basically stated that, like, I want to make it so people could play it single player if they wanted to get to end game.
Damn it, Zealeus. To me. Because this is literally, this is why I love Defiance so much, was that, you could jump in and do like a big boss battle or whatever, but I was a fucking lone wolf through my entire time. I put a ton of time in that game too. But I always
will say, sorry, go on.
No, it's like I've been burned so many times by asshats and stuff, and I feel like, yes, there is some enjoyment there's definitely some games out there that are more enjoyable co-oping, but at the same time, to have that, I guess that option of just doing it single player and seeing the difference, being able to compare and contrast is huge for me.
I would say I played a lot of MMOs over the years, and 14, is by far the most non-elitist group for regular like content I've ever played. So like what I mean, like we're doing like the leveling up dungeons that you have to do to like progress your main story quest.
Mm-hmm.
If you jump in like, hey, I've never been here before, like people don't care. They're like, cool, man, just follow me. Um, Especially because like a lot of it, even like as a tank, you basically don't even need a healer.
Mm-hmm.
Just with how over geared, so people don't care. Obviously, once you get to the end game raids, people care then.
Right.
That's where it becomes tougher. But pretty much all the MSQ main story quest stuff, like nobody really cares at this point. A, because the community is really good, and B, because like they've dumbed down the content a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it would be a stupid amount of hours for. I kind of care. Like, what I should look at, what would be the hours to basically start Final Fantasy 14 at level 1
Mm-hmm.
and get to like the end of Endwalker would be many hours.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Hours.
I will say that I have now surpassed the 25-hour mark on Tales of Arise.
Oh, nice.
I believe I have my full roster, or close to it. I have 6 characters.
So, did you get the nature guy?
I have the Lord. The last guy I got was the Lord. Yep. Yeah, the guy who does the like the vine thing to lock people in place.
I guess as I call him, the nature guy.
Yeah. No, yeah. So, I mean, I've put some serious time in there. I even have done some fishing.
I tried fishing once, and I'm like, this is terrible.
To be totally honest with you, the fishing sucks. But you got to figure out a way to catch like a bunch of random fish so that you could potentially get a better fishing rod, so that you can actually catch the fish you're trying to catch. Otherwise, true. You have got to be the luckiest SOB in the world and be like fast on the button presses. Otherwise, the fish will just keep popping off the reel every single time.
So let's see here. Single player. So according to How Long to Beat,
yep,
Final Fantasy 14, the average like to beat the game, I'm assuming that means like beat Endwalker.
Yep.
From level 1 is 232 hours.
Oh yeah, so just a couple days.
Actually, what you should do is play it every extra life. Like that's just where you play for the 24 hours, and wherever you left off,
and then take
the next
a
extra
year
life.
off. Jesus.
Yes. I just see 10 years later, you finally beat 3 expansions ago.
Yeah. No, I don't think that would work real well for me, Zealeus.
Damn it. Seemed like such a great idea at the time.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Yeah, no. But yeah. Okay, so speaking of gamer communities or just gamers in general, I don't know how many people out there are playing Valorant, but a shit ton of you guys are. Valorant has announced that they are going to be updating their automated Smurf detection system. Now, Zealeus, I will yield the floor to you so you can explain exactly what Smurfs are.
So basically a Smurf are, like, let's just say you have an SR rating from 0 to 100 for the sake of argument. And let's say 50 is perfectly average, 90 is awesome, and 10 is like you basically can't actually use your mouse. And so what happens is, let's just say a player, their natural rating, let's just say it's a natural rating of 90. What a Smurf does is they either A, start a new account, or B, they take their level 90 skill account and they intentionally lose matches. Typically, they get well below the average rating of 50. The whole point of why people do this is they then want to get down to, let's just say, level 30, and then go in and face stop the entire composition or entire opposition to get back up to that top level. And it sucks for 2 reasons. One is, if the player does not purchase a new account, it means that level 90 player must now intentionally throw all those matches to get back down to this hypothetical level 30. So you've now basically ruined all these matches for all these players because you have a player throwing. And then on the inverse, you have now this level 90 natural player at level 30. Basically, just created an entirely unfun and unbalanced game for the rest of the players at that level up to many, many, many levels. So it just creates a very unfun, because the whole point of like competitive gaming is they have evenly matched games. For the most part, if it's my experience is if it's an evenly matched game and you lose, as long as you like wasn't like a face stomp, people still have fun. It's like, well, we lost, but it was fun. We had some good fights. Life goes on. It's when you are continually in these matches where there's obviously Smurf or completely imbalanced matchmaking, where you just get face rolled over and over, either winning or losing. That's where the games start to lose their fun. Because we all want to win. By the end, we also play competitive games because we want that thrill of competition, right? The endorphins for when you win that battle that was tough against an evenly matched player. It's basically, they ruined that gamer experience, both for winning and losing. Definitely more so for the losers and the winners, because at least for winners, you still have the yay, I won. But it just takes a lot of enjoyment out of the game when you have Smurfs in the game. There's just no other way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be very interested to see. You know, of course, you're not going to get all of the fun details behind exactly how they determine, you know, the Smurf accounts or whatnot. But you know, whatever it takes to you know, kind of level the field and make sure that people aren't dicking over other players and ruining their enjoyment. Because that's the thing. I think that's one of the other reasons why I kind of get gun shy when it comes to multiplayer games is, am I going to be dealing with someone who is going to be trying to throw the match? Or or am I going to have face off against someone who is so far and above what I am, and I just constantly get, you know, curb stomped over and over and over again? Then why would I come back? You know.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's definitely a major problem with online competitive games. And how to balance that is a ongoing battle.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, especially a game like Valorant with a free to play game, you can easily go in and create a new account. Now there are things like you have to have like so many hours and so many wins or losses in order to play competitive.
Right.
So there are kind of checks and balances. But in the way, there's always a way to game the system. I mean, hell, you can get the boosting system.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes both ways. So you can be we think of Smurfs as usually players above their SR rating, either losing and throwing intentionally to get to the bottom or buying that account to get to the top.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also go the reverse, where I'm a player who's now boosted my SR, let's just say from 30 to 70, even though I'm a 30 rated player.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden, I'm playing with all these 70 and above rated players. So I've now, for my team, created an imbalanced experience for my teammates. And I'm probably going to cause them to also now lose their match at the same time. That's not nearly as common, I think, because it's also bloody expensive. I've looked at prices just for the hell of it because I'm always just curious. And I'm like, no.
Oh, come on, Zealeus.
Well, sorry, I couldn't afford to get that Christmas tree if I got the boosting system.
Boo.
I know. Actually, if you want to get boosted, instead take that money and pay for coaching. That's a much better use of your money. Because there are some really good coaches out there who can help players improve. That's a total, I think, if you're really into a game, that is a actual worthwhile investment of money into a game that you're passionate about.
Yeah, I personally, I mean, this is one of the other huge hurdles that, you know, that I personally face when it comes to games, be it digital or analog or whatever, is that sometimes just the entry into it is just so monumental or confusing or difficult. And I know that if I could just figure it out, I would like it. But having someone to help me or to coach me in, the basics and maybe some of the nuances so I could actually, truly enjoy the game. Because I'm sure that, the couple of times that I played the MMO you play while playing another MMO, EVE Online, I probably could have gotten more out of it if I had someone who, kind of coached me or really taught me what really was awesome about the game. Because all I did was I just mined. That was it.
It's kind of ironic, though, now that, do you fully work from home now?
Yes.
Now that we work from home, I'm kind of like, is Eve the perfect game to play now? Because you just do some tickets, and then on your 5-minute break, you can just log in and, move your mining, to the next system. So I've kind of actually thought about that. I'm like, is Eve the perfect work from home game?
Yeah, just 27 jumps will take you 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Go do what you need to do. Just keep to safe space, and you'll be fine.
I've actually thought of it. Haven't done it, but I'm just like, it's interesting. I mean, you got your lunch break, just log in for a few minutes, and while you're scarfing down whatever you do for your lunch.
That's if I remember my lunch. That's my problem, is when I'm working at home, I lose track of time.
Oh, I don't forget. I can't go without eating. I got my 2.5 square meals a day.
I have my, I guess technically when I'm thinking about it's 2.5, because breakfast is kind of like a snack, lunch, dinner, couple snacks.
I don't miss a meal.
Yeah. So here's some fun news, some exciting news, potentially, sort of, for anybody out there who is a Google Stadia owner. Yes, we understand that the Google Stadia is shutting down in January. However, if you had previously purchased the Ubisoft Plus multi-access pass for Stadia, they are now going to basically gift you games.
To use on just to redeem at their store, or any
through their Ubisoft Connect account.
Okay.
So
I mean, that's better than nothing.
Yeah. So it's kind of, it's hooray, a little silver lining. I'm trying to figure out what the games are. Though they say, okay, so no, I still don't know. I still can't figure it out. But one interesting thing is that someone asked, and I don't know the answer to, but what happens with the save game data? Is there a way to transfer your game saves to a different, because if I'm on the Stadia and I get on Steam or the Epic Store or whatever, is there a way for me to take that save data and put it on? Because technically, I'm still on my PC. However, it is a different platform because you're going from streaming to your actual PC.
I could not begin to tell you.
I don't know. But that would be very interesting.
It is a good question.
But at the same time, I think that developers would be really gun shy to do that, because if you if the only way you could do it is they would have to hand over a file to you, then someone's going to reverse engineer that shit and then break the game by changing variables and shit until they make God mode.
I mean, that's basically the PC.
Right. But you could still encrypt some stuff probably a little bit better without having to, I don't know. It'd be a very timely thing, I would assume.
Yeah, I feel like most games are definitely, well, not definitely. Most games are not cross-platform, but some are. It seems like the mobile games, I mean the iPhone games, they can then play your PC. Those tend to be cross-save.
Yeah.
But But then like your actual kind of bigger, let's just call them AAA titles, those don't seem to like it do it as much.
Well, actually, you know what? Come to think of it, let's say that you have an Ubisoft account, and you have to use that Ubisoft account, or your Ubisoft account is connected to your Stadia. Maybe you could transfer it that way.
You got me, yo.
I don't know. Food for thought, ladies and gentlemen. Food for thoughts.
I mean, I don't play a lot of Ubisoft games in the first place, so I'm not much help there.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think the only Ubisoft games I really play, and I haven't played them in a long time, are probably the Assassin's Creed games.
I always got bored of the Assassin's Creed games because I felt like I was doing the same repetitive thing like an hour into the game over and over.
It moves. The story moves somewhat, but it's mostly assassinations and whatnot.
Yeah, they just never quite held night. I've tried a couple of them, and they just never quite work for me. Yeah.
To each their own. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause real quick to do friends of the show. These are the amazing people who are patrons of Alta Confusion or have helped us in some other way. And we love to stop and give them some love and attention every single Thursday and Hangout. So without further ado, let's jump into it. The first one, of course, is the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts that challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. The next shout out we got to give to is a gentleman we met at the convention that shall not be named. But he is an amazing person, a very hard worker, and of course, who we're talking about Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously Wet Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia.
Noodle Boy!
The next one, of course, is the amazing individual who can help take away many of your aches and pains. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore. The company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. Now, the next shout out we got to give is to the gentleman who leapt in our 11th hour with our weird music issue because what was once not copyrighted became copyrighted. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a little bit about CrossPad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alta Confusion. CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. Now, the final shout out we got to give is to probably our first and longest page, and that, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both the development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested, he also has a book out there that is called Is That Agile? All right, so let's do a couple quick Ultra Confused things, because I know that you guys right now are just dying to know, how do I become one of the friends of the show? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to tell you that Ultra Confusion has a Patreon page. Hold on. Ultra Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, demons, aliens, monsters, vampires, mummies, zombies, orcs, hobgoblins, regular goblins, dragons, and more to become active participants in the work that we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. Currently, we have 2 different tiers. So the first tier is the $1 a month. That's $1 a month or $12 a year tier. And what that will get you is early access to all of our playthroughs, as well as the ability to partake in patron-only posts and polls. If you are feeling a little bit frisky, you can go up to the $5 a month. That's $5 a month or $60 a year. Not only do you get everything at the $1 tier, but you also get your name or organization added to our thank you section of every single Thursday night hangout. So if you're interested in becoming a patron today, go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/Ultra Confusion, all one word. All right. Now, I made mention of the Amazon exclusive anime that was based off of the Critical Role game that was a YouTube success. The DM, of course, being Matt Mercer, and how Vox Machina, Critical Role Vox Machina was getting a second season. Well, it turns out that not only are they getting a second season, but there's also a board game in the works that's around this. And to be totally honest with you, I'm finding this more and more is becoming a kind of a norm, where if you have a good like Dungeons and Dragons-esque system, you're gonna see some sort of like board game or tabletop system in place. What it's called is Till the Last Gasp. It is a 2-player dramatic storytelling game of duels, where it will be coming out February or March of 2023. It'll have exclusive Vox Machina character sheets for special duels. So pretty sweet. Not gonna lie, kind of cool. And
Nice.
And I know my kids aren't around. I got one of my kids kind of like it's kind of in the vein of Dungeons and Dragons, but it's definitely just like cards. I think it's
Crystals of Prime?
No, Jesus, no. No, it's like Marvel Mayhem or something like that.
Oh,
where
cool.
you get like the Marvel characters and they got like different stats and you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's a board game that you'll have to somehow play with them, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, exactly.
Isn't that convenient?
Yes, actually, it's very convenient that the children are going to be receiving several board games this Christmas. How odd.
How odd these were all on Charlie's list at one time.
How odd that we will mysteriously have things to do when all of us are off next week.
That is actually a good call, sir.
Yeah. I have my moments. What can I say? I have.
There
my
you
moments.
go. Very, very nice. Very nice.
There was something else I was going to tell you, and I can't remember what it was. Dang it. I have forgotten what my next story was going to be.
So if you're doing board games, I actually played one that you may find interesting. I was over at a buddy's house. We played, hold on, let me pull up what this is. What is it called? I took a picture of it because it was so much. So it's called Dutch Blitz.
Dutch Blitz. Okay.
So you ever play Egyptian Rat Screw?
Yeah.
Basically, it's a formalized version of Egyptian Rat Screw.
Interesting.
It's like 4 different colors, like 1 through 10. Everyone gets like dealt cards, and you basically put cards face up on your pile. You put one into the middle, and then anyone can play off of that. And the object is to get rid of the cards in front of your face. So, like, if it's a 1 and you both have 2s, like me and you, now it's a race for both of you to play that 2 simultaneously.
Gotcha.
It's a fun game. I highly recommend it. Because you can always play at a slower level with kids. But yeah, it's a fun game.
Okay, and the name of it one more time?
Dutch Blitz.
Dutch Blitz.
It's a wonderful, good game.
Yes.
It's actually that way on the box. I'm not just making it up.
So I mentioned that Vox Machina, the second season is coming to Amazon Prime, starting in, I think it's January the 21st or something like that.
Nice.
But there is another Amazon Prime original show called Paper Girls. And it's based off of a graphic novel that because I have Comixology. Jesus Christ, I've got a lot of fucking subscriptions. Comixology is basically like the Kindle Unlimited version, but for like graphic novels and comic books.
Yep.
And Paper Girls was one of those. It might actually be a Comixology original. But it's based on, you have, of course, Paper Girls. It's exactly what you think it is. It's a group of girls who deliver morning papers. But something bizarre as hell happens the day after Halloween, that morning after Halloween, they call Hell Day. Something happens and it changes everyone's life. And it's really interesting, but at the same time, like, I don't know. It's so fucking confusing. I've watched like 2 or 3 episodes and I'm like, yeah, this is really close to the graphic novel. And I was scratching my head during the graphic novel because like, what's this? Because they add layers of what's going on. So you don't know anything really, because you think you're starting to figure shit out, and then another thing is plopped on there. And you're like, oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, but definitely worth a look-see, I have to say.
Not quite the same, but did you ever watch the Dragon Age anime on Netflix?
So I almost started, and I will fully tell you, I almost started. However, I was feeling slightly sleepy, and instead of watching it and falling asleep to it, I ended up watching. Where's my phone? Do I have my phone? I ended up watching, and I did, thankfully, I did fall asleep. So it's a good thing that I didn't start watching it. But my kids and I have gotten really into Scooby-Doo. And there was a show back in 2015 called Be Cool Scooby-Doo. And so I just put that on. Nice. It's great. But I mean, I don't think, even if it was the most interesting show on the earth, I would have made it through, because
you're out.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's been a really long week for me with work and whatnot. So
no, it's good. I definitely recommend it.
So is it like, if you had to compare it to like Dragon Dogma?
I would actually put it between like Dragon Dogma and Arcane.
Okay, Arcane being the first?
No, Arcane being Dota.
That's not Dota.
I thought it was Dota like Arcane or something.
No, the Arcane is League of Legends.
That's what I'm thinking of. Wow. Yeah, I'm thinking of League of Legends.
Because there is a Dota anime there too.
Oh, they're all so. It's similar to all of those because I could literally Dota and Dragon's Dogma are the same in my head.
Yes,
They're both
I agree.
like set in the same setting. They both have a dragon. They both have gods and shit. Like it's the same. I was thinking about it last night. I was like, I really can't remember which characters are from which anime. Which is, I mean, they're both good. That's not a criticism. It's just, it is what it is. But no, I would put it between those two because I'm calling Dragon's Dogma and Dota the same damn thing.
Yep.
And League of Legends, kind of like in between those two in terms of like art style and the actual storyline. The storyline actually reminds me of Dungeons and Dragons.
Sweet.
You have to watch. I don't want to give any spoilers, but just with what happens would definitely remind me of a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Is actually probably the best way to put it.
All right. Yeah, I will fully admit that there's definitely like you. I sometimes confuse anime and can't remember what character goes to which one, and it usually revolves around, for me, like, I don't know, what's I can't remember what the name of, there's a disorder that people have where they don't recognize faces. Like,
yes, I know what you're talking about.
So
yeah.
For me, a lot of like the mech, the giant robot animes, I can't remember which one is which, or what character is from which one. I mean, the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I'm from this one." I'll be like, "Okay." In my mind, I'm thinking like 7 different animes, none of which is the one you named, but okay, you look familiar.
I can definitely see that. That's funny.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Because I mean, a lot of those robot animes also have kind of pretty similar like mechs.
Yeah,
and then like the actual animation.
Yep.
Typically somewhat similar. So yeah, that makes sense. I could get that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah. I tell you what, I don't know what the Pokemon company has done, but there are a lot of people who are shitting on this latest Pokemon game. They're just kind of, I guess, because I think it's like Pokemon Legends, Arceus or Arceus or whatever it was just off the beat. It was different. And so people really got into it. And then with this, whatever it is, Scarlet and Purple or whatever, everyone was expecting something, something different, something exciting, something new. And it's just basically like the same formula that you had since the handhelds. And so people have been shitting on it. Also
has like an insane amount of grinding, is what I've heard.
Yes, that too. Yeah.
Like for me, like it depends on the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to grind, I mean, think especially like RPGs to be like the uber non-required boss, then sure, go for it.
Right.
I don't particularly enjoy grinding for like the main storyline, but like if you want to go beat the Emerald Weapon Part 4, sure. Yep. Okay, that's different. Or obviously MMOs. Like MMOs are made to grind. So like both of those cases, I get. But like when you just have to like endlessly grind, especially like the same mobs over and over, just for like the main story in a single player game, like that's not very fun to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, through most RPGs, I'll end up doing some grinding, probably some excessive grinding, simply because I want to feel comfy on some of those boss battles. But forcing a gamer to have to grind consistently through a game would really grate on my nerves as well. But that's really that's with like Pokemon and a lot of these games where they have this huge ass roster. The reason why you have to grind is because there's this wonderful mechanic where only the characters or creatures or pets that are currently in your active party get the experience.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is, oh my god, how fucking annoying is that? Now in Pokemon, what they've done is there's several instances where you're leveling up your main team, and you're gonna fight a Pokemon basically to submission, so you can hit them with the Pokeball and capture them. And as you progress through the game, the Pokemon's level is going to be higher than 1. It's not like you're going to be catching level 1 Pokemon and all the rest of yours are going to be like 60s and 70s. But at the same time, after you've captured it, you're still going to have to, you'll still have to grind it to get it up to where you want it. Or, and this is where, you get the real gotchas, is you need the evolve or evolution. And then, of course, I'm not really going to go into the wonderful, corrupt way that a lot of these free-to-play games do it. Is not for the evolution of the character. Well, actually, yeah, the evolution of the character. You got to get so many copies of the character, or so many copies of the item, plus a binding crystal or some crap like that. And just, to grind. That's the shit that drives me absolutely up the wall.
Oh yeah, that's always that's where the free to play, a lot of those hero games, like we have the 5 or 6 squad. That's where you always hit the wall. Is when you need to get your 5-star to 6-star, you need 3 copies of that same hero, and it's
of the same hero at the 5-star rating.
Yeah, it's good lord, it took me 2 months to get one of these heroes.
Exactly, and this character only actually starts at a 2-star rating, so you need 3 2-stars. Actually, you need 9 2-stars, so you get 1 3-star, and then you got to do that 3 times. So you're 27, and it's just, and so you end up having 115 or something.
I still have on my phone somewhere when I used to play Kingdom Hearts Unchained.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly how it was. And there's a flow chart that you'd keep track of as you're leveling up your characters to try to get to the correct stars.
Yep.
And so I remember I was really into that game. I didn't play for 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of funny because I logged in and all of my characters were no longer not relevant. So it's damn, I spent all this time on these characters.
Yeah.
And now it's those were 4 or 5-star characters. Now it's 12-star Uber Sephiroth with a black border for free. And it's it kills everyone in one hit now. I'm well, okay.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah. Then again, I've Dot Hack actually had an interesting Dot Hack GU had an interesting mechanic where if you maxed out, you can combine your weapons or your accessories or your armor. I think it was 5 times. So once you get up to +5, it becomes a supplement thing where you can add it to anything within 5 levels of its current level. So if it was a level 20, you could add it. You could basically sub a level 25 whatever. So that's nice.
So it meant if you spent all that time leveling up that level 20 thing, you could still make it relevant as you leveled up.
Yeah.
That's a cool way of doing it.
Yeah, you grinded and you just have a shit ton of this stuff, and you could basically, you could probably, if you grind through the right places, you could have 4 + 5 items, and that's the other thing is it didn't have to match.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So, it was just a +5 weapon. So any weapon, it didn't have to be the specific sword or gun or gloves or whatever. So that would allow you to combine quicker. Because oh my god, that drives me batty. Also,
you put out the bat signal.
Speaking of combining, this is one thing that has pissed me off about Tales of Arise. Real quick. When you get to a certain part in the game, they are going to, when you go to the blacksmith, they're going to give you option to make a better version of a weapon. And there's been many times that I've had that weapon, not the improved version, but that weapon, but because it's equipped, it's not shown. It doesn't shown as me owning it. So I have to unequip the item, then go back into the blacksmith to then make the item and then equip it back. Whereas
I don't remember that happening, honestly.
Whereas what should happen is it should see, is it in your inventory or is it currently equipped? And if it's currently equipped, unequip, just like flash up a warning saying you're about to unequip this item or something. But it's, oh my God, I can't tell you, like, having to go through additional menu steps to do this shit.
Is that with the accessories or weapons?
Weapons.
I don't remember that ever happening with weapons.
The accessories, the only thing you got to worry about with the accessories is that you can't enhance accessories that you found. You can only enhance accessories that you made.
Yeah, I don't remember that unequip issue, but who knows?
No, dude, I had to do that with 3 weapons today. I was just like, oh my God.
Nice.
Because I finally got like all these pieces, and I would go in there and like excited, like, all right, got all these pieces. And then as soon as I got in, I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, it's still equipped, isn't it? Oh, well, I got to exit out of this and then open up my character screen, then go over to equipment, select the character, select some random ass item for him to have equipped, then go back in, select, yes, I want to build this. Yes, as soon as I build it, equip it so I can have the right stuff.
Yeah, I could see that.
And just kind of like an aside here, when you played Tales of Arise, did you try to find all the owls?
If I knew they're around, yeah. Like, it was obvious though.
Yeah, the
little ooh.
Yeah, the little hoodle would pop out and go.
Yeah. So I mean, if like I knew they were around and I saw the owl, then yes, I would find that damn owl.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like searching in every nook and cranny to be like, is there who here? Is there who here?
Yeah.
So I wasn't being like, I found most of them too, just by natural gameplay.
Yeah.
Because when you go to the owl city, it'll tell you for the colors if you got all the owls for that color.
Or I'll tell you, oh, this tree looks like there's room for 2 more.
Yeah. So I got most of them just through randomness.
Yeah.
Without really trying. But yeah, no. If I saw a hoot, I was definitely finding them. Which of course is how you get your cool gear. And it was actually a game where I actually liked using the stupid
costume stuff.
Yes, the costumes were because you could actually see the costumes while you're playing.
Yeah.
Because it was the third party style. So like if you put on a stupid, devil's horn, you actually saw it in the game. It wasn't just like you never saw it.
Yep. Or you could put a cattail on and that's what they're gonna have.
And then the cutscenes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the only exception is if they were the animated cutscenes. Then it went back to the standard.
Yes, you're right.
But all the other like generated cutscenes,
like the comic book style.
Yeah. That was good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Though I am kind of like as you progress through the game and you take out side quests and stuff, you unlock additional like skill spots.
Yep.
And maybe I'm playing it wrong or something, but the magic girl, I can't, like, none of hers I've already done. I've filled out her entire the 5 that she kind of started with, and I can't seem to find any quests to unlock additional ones.
They come later.
I bet you they're about to come right after the boss I gotta get to.
Yeah, it was annoying. I remember that. I remember thinking the exact same thing.
Okay,
like,
good. So it's not
where
just
are
me.
her extra spells? I'm so confused.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen. I think, Zealeus, do you have any closing thoughts besides everyone have a safe and happy holidays?
No, this fire feels really good against my back. It's keeping me warm.
I'll
It's
bet.
like I'm playing against the back of a old school Xbox 360. And it's like tethered to my back.
So it's like me playing any game on my plasma screen TV and me sitting at point blank.
Is your plasma screen still down there?
Yeah.
Nice.
And that thing still warms the room really well. If I have a cup of ice water, it will melt the ice water.
The plasma screen TV that I had was still my favorite like video ever from
Yeah.
like picture. I know like it's the most inefficient product ever made, but oh, that picture quality is so good.
The true black, my friend. The true black.
It was just vivid, man.
I know.
It also weighed like 60 pounds.
Oh, dude, mine is, yeah.
It's
a two-man job. It's a two-man job.
I mean, that's a relic now. It's probably worth some money in the black market. You can't buy them new.
No, hell no. No. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, been a pleasure giving it to come our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. Will we be back next Thursday? I don't know. But if we are not, have a safe New Year's. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you later.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.